team. I'll make a brief statement, obviously, about the contract extension. Both Julie and I are extremely grateful to Dr. Livingstone and really all of the Baylor administration for this opportunity to stay at Baylor and continue to build on what we started. And really just to the entire university since we've been here, and the entire community of Waco. People have welcomed us and done nothing but help us get the program moving in the right direction. So we're grateful for that and excited about the opportunity for many, many more years. And just on a personal note, these decisions, as you talk about where you're going to live with your family and all the things are hard. And I always look at life not in terms of places, but in terms of people and partnerships. And the football program, the athletic department would not be where it is without Mack Rhodes. And he has tremendous vision, but he also grinds it out. He's one of the few athletic directors in the country that's there before the football coaching staff and stays later than they do. So I just felt like when you have to bet on yourself, you want to bet on people around you, and I think that we'll do great things here on and off the field with Dr. Livingstone, with the entire university, but and most certainly with Mack. And also, I want to make sure I thank Jeremiah Dickey, who's an associate athletic director who works for football and puts up with me. And so we're just grateful for all those people. And I want to make sure I thank our staff. Guys have moved across the country and left high school jobs and come to Baylor on a vision, and we're not there yet, but we're getting there, and I'm grateful to them. And but most importantly, I want to thank our players, especially some of the players that aren't even here anymore. I was getting texts last night from Greg Roberts and those guys, and it was those guys in that first year, 2017, that made the decision to stay and battle through what was a tough season that has allowed us to have the small amount of success we're having right now. And I'm grateful to them more than you can know. And I want to be at Baylor for many, many reasons, but most importantly are the players, because they're special. And along with that, I'm almost done thanking people, are the players' parents. I know what it's like as a parent to send your kid off, and all you want is for them to be successful. And the one thing I've learned being a college football coach is if you want to end up being successful, you quite often have to have some times of no success. You have to go through adversity so you learn how to deal with it, and you become more refined on the other end. And the only way a young person can do that without transferring, without quitting, without always feeling like everyone's against them is if they have parents behind them, family members behind them, high school coaches behind them who trust in the coaching staff and trust in the process. And a lot of the kids that we have, their families made the decision to send them here. They listened to our vision and they believed it. But there were a lot of parents that inherited us. That they had to trust coaches that they didn't know. And so I'm so grateful to the parents of our players because they've entrusted us with the most important thing in their lives, which is their kids. And so I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for where we'll get to. We're not there yet. We have a lot of work to do, but we're gonna keep grinding day in and day out to make this program one of the best college football programs in the country on and off the field. So I'm committed to Baylor, so I'm also committed to beating Kansas State. So I'm going to kind of transition to them, and what a great opportunity is for us to play a team that was ranked up until last week, went to Starkville, beat Mississippi State, played a hard-fought game against Oklahoma State on the road, and we know it'll be a battle in every sense of the word. Coach Kleiman's come in. He's a winner. He's a national championship caliber coach. They're playing great defense right now. One of the top passing defenses and third down defenses in the country. Run the football. Skylar Thompson's an elite quarterback that can hurt you with his arm or his feet. He certainly hurt us last year. And as you look at their roster, there's guys that we've played against, and we know how tough, how physical they'll be, what a challenge it'll be on the road. And so we have to play our best football. And Saturday we were able to come away with a win. It was a great game, a gritty game, tough game, but it certainly wasn't a dominant game. And it had a chance to be that, and we didn't do it. And so as we sit here now, we've played 4 games. My message to our players is very simple. We just have to get better. Whether we're 4-0 or 0-4, we're not anywhere near where we want to be. And so we have to just get better right now. And we're playing really hard, and we're playing really physical. So you see a lot of good things happening. We're sacking the quarterback. We're starting to knock the ball out. We're making big plays in the passing game. But there's a level of execution of everybody just kind of doing their job that isn't really happening right now, and it showed up in the fourth quarter of that game where we let them back into it. So we're going to kind of get back to the basics this week. If you have a guy man-to-man, just look at the guy. Don't look back at the quarterback and try to be a hero. If you're supposed to be in the C gap, be in the C gap. Everybody just go out and do their job. Our issues are not talent. Our issues are not toughness. It's just really the discipline of execution right now. And so that'll come from the coaching staff. It'll come from our veteran players, and we have to make it happen. And I'll close this statement by saying this. The last play of that game was probably one of my favorite plays I've ever been a part of in football, where Phil brought a blitz, and James Lockhart just trusted his training, and he used a rip move, which is all we tell him to do. He didn't do something he saw on Twitter. He didn't do a spin move. He just did a rip move. He reached his outside arm like he does every day in practice. He knocked the ball out, and James Lynch saw the ball on the ground. And James Lynch right now has 4.5 tackles for loss and a couple sacks, and a lot of kids would have picked that ball up and tried to go score a touchdown. And James Lynch didn't think about anything else other than his team and winning the football game. He dove on the football, and we won the game. And so I probably would have picked it up and tried to go score. And James Lynch made it all about the team. He just went out there and had the discipline to execute and just do his job. And so if we can continue to get that message across to our players, if the guys will come in and everybody will just handle their business and do their job, I think maybe we have a chance to become a better team. And we'll have to do that this week to go to Manhattan and come away with a win. So thank you for that. Let me have that long statement. I'm sorry. But with that, I'll take your questions.
Yeah, Matt, what kind of long-term impact are you hoping your contract extension has on the program, especially with things like recruiting?
Well, I'm kind of a private person. I wouldn't really want to put stuff out, but I think the impact of it being released has two impacts, and the biggest one to me is for our current players. You can say what you want. Our current players are kind of walking around like, in the back of their mind, it's is this coaching staff going to be here? Well, now they know we're going to be here, so let's get to work. Okay, let's get that out of the way, and let's make sure everybody's going to class and everybody's playing football. And so I think that was really important for our players, and then for recruiting. This is a great place, and it's not even that necessarily that I'm going to be here and the staff's going to be here. It's also that this is a destination place. Living in Central Texas, living in Waco, being at Baylor University, the access to education, the access to world-class facilities, elite sports, and all across the board, from tennis to women's basketball as a national championship caliber program. Scott, Drew, everything here is the best of the best. And so I hope it tells recruits that, I'll probably have other options. I've had other options. Other coaches, our coaching staff have had other options. We're not forced to be here. We love to be here because this is a great place. And I want recruits to know that they all have other options. But if they come to Baylor, it'll be one of the best decisions of their life. And I've now made that decision twice. I made it the first time, and I've made it now. And so I hope that is the message in recruiting.
Coach, you're looking at Kansas State. They, looks like they're doing some of the same things they've always done. But what kind of changes has Coach Kleiman brought to them?
It's the same. The ethos of the program is the same. They're tough. They're disciplined. They're physical. I mean, literally, the offensive line, other than Risner, they're basically all the same guys. They're gonna run the football. They're gonna play great on special teams. They're playing great defense. So it's all the same, thing. But they just do it in different ways. The defense is different. I mean, Coach Kleiman's a defensive man by trade, and they take away what you do well. They're not afraid to play man. I mean, one of the stories for this game is we haven't really defeated man coverage at the level we want. We had some big plays, but play in and play out. Are we executing against those coverages? And they're going to come out, and they're going to play man. They're going to get in our face. On our defense, their offense, we've gone to kind of a smaller defense. We have a lot of fast guys, and they're going to line up, and they're going to put tight ends and fullbacks. They have a 6'7" tight end. They got a bunch of big people, and they're going to go out there and they're going to pound us. And so it'll be a challenge in every sense. And so we'll just have to get ready and go play our best. And like I said, just if everybody does their job, at least it gives you a chance to play really well.
Matt, through 4 games, what's your level of satisfaction with how the defense has adjusted to the new defense?
I think it's a work in progress. I think the biggest issue on defense is we've given up 65 points. 45 of those have been in the fourth quarter, and that's antithetical to everything that I believe in. Now that's a team thing, right? We're not running the ball in the fourth quarter. Like, we can't just control a game and put the game away. So the run game and defense all goes hand in hand. But I think we've eliminated a lot of big plays. We've been really good against the run. I thought Brock Purdy looked like Baker Mayfield on Saturday, quite honestly. He's a special player. It's 2 years in a row. So I love to win and also appreciate the beauty of the opponent and them playing well. I thought he played fantastic because we really hit Brock Purdy on Saturday. I mean, we got after him with a bunch of big hits, and he just kept getting up off the deck and playing the next play. So I think we're getting the ball out better, not at the level we want. We're getting to the quarterback a lot better. We're still giving up a lot of easy throws, like a lot of just kind of free access. They're just kind of throwing the ball out there. I think we're tackling better. So there's a lot of things we're doing better. There's just a lot of details that, because we've had success, sometimes when you start having success on defense, guys start just not worrying. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to try to make a play. So we had a lot of guys on Saturday in the fourth quarter trying to make plays, and the reality is when you try to make a play in football, the play you often do, you just do it for the other team. You start trying. I'm going to do something special. You do something special for the other team, and that showed up in the fourth quarter Saturday. So I think on yesterday we kind of came in and it was a reality check for a lot of guys. Hey, I better just do my job and trust my teammates. Still play hard, still play physical, but have the discipline to execute and do your job.
Matt, even after watching film, was that kind of the message of that fourth quarter? Was just do your job? I mean, there weren't any.
Yeah, there was a lot of guys, I think, Jerry, that thought man, we played great defense for 3 quarters, and then kind of let it go in the fourth quarter. And that's not real. That's what it feels like when you're out there, but that's not real. That tight end that caught the ball, ran down the 3-yard line, he was wide open on that play 2 series earlier. Just Clay or Jay Will or someone came off the edge and sacked the quarterback before he could throw it to him. So we're playing with effort, we're playing with intensity, but we're not playing with the discipline and the focus and the precision that we need to. And it's the same thing in the 2-minute drive. We hit Tyquan Thornton. Charlie hits Tyquan Thornton on a curl wide open. Well, that same curl was open on 3rd and 6, and 3 drives a quarter earlier, and we're looking at the other side because we're thinking, hey, I think Denzel's going to be open, or instead of just everyone go out there and execute. So that comes from the coaching staff, and it comes from the leadership. And if there's one thing I have to make sure we do right now, which is tells you how far our seniors have come, I have to make sure we're having enough fun because we're winning games and guys are going in and they're like, oh, we got to get better. And that's a good thing, but you also have to enjoy winning too. So there's a balance, but I like where our heads are at. We have to get a lot better this week because, Kansas State does not give you anything. They're not going to give us a thing.
You guys have blocked 7 kicks in the last 9 games. How big is that for momentum, especially when you guys blocked that field goal before halftime?
Yeah, that's just kind of that's one of the things that we do, right? That we talk about our brand, like we want to be a team that blocks kicks. So when you do it, it energizes you, right? It's like, hey, this is what I do, right? Great dunkers, when they get a big dunk, it's their brand. And so we like to block kicks. And so when we get one, it's a big deal to us. And, but there's another example. Like we teach the guys that aren't coming, they run to 5 yards, they turn sideways to get their hands down like a shortstop in case the ball ever comes. And on that play, we kind of jogged and stopped and looked at the play, and the ball came, would have come right to us, we'd have scored a touchdown. And we weren't ready because we weren't doing our job. We were just kind of doing our job. And we all know what that's like, right? We all know people that don't. They kind of do their job, and that's what we're doing as a football program right now. We're kind of doing our job, and so we got to get the details back to where everyone's doing their job because they know that it's going to come down to the last play. Like if you believe the game's going to come down to the last play, then every play could be the play that wins or loses the game. Then you do your job with that urgency every play. And so, but I like our effort. I like our physicality. We've tried to put some younger, taller guys on the field goal block team a couple weeks ago, and some of the older guys got really angry. And we hadn't blocked a few, and they said, put us back on it. So we had some guys out there that were really giving great effort. But Gabe Hall's one of the young guys that got out there, and it was fun to see those guys get it done and make a big play in the game because, you look at the end of the day, that was a play that changed the game.
Matt, what kind of growth have you seen from Jordan Williams?
Oh, I mean, the biggest growth I'd say is just, his maturity and attention to detail. He's always been, when I say maturity, I'm not talking about as a person. Great person all along. But his football maturity, the way he takes care of his body now, the way he prepares, the way he does extra. He got hurt his ankle in preseason, and Terrell went ahead of him, and he didn't complain. He just was like, whatever I need to do. No one's bought into the process and come further to buy into the process than he has, and which is why he represents us as a captain. And he played a lot of really good football on Saturday. He's always had great instincts. We came in and we watched him the year before we got here. He started against Oklahoma. You could tell he had great instincts. He's just added the physicality and the knowledge and the discipline to go on top of those instincts. And then he's become a guy that, he called me. We won that game, and on Saturday night, Lovett was saying, hey, we need to have a players-only meeting because this wasn't good. This is Saturday night now. This wasn't good enough. Jay Will called me like 10:45 at night. Now I'm an old man now. Like I'm falling asleep, and a player calls you on a Saturday night. You're like, oh no, what can I do for you? And he was, coach, can we have, we want to have a players meeting. We want to watch this tape and make sure we're all holding each other accountable. So lots of guys love to hold other guys accountable. It's the guys that hold themselves accountable first and allow others to hold them accountable. And that's where Jay Will's just gone like this. Like, if you say something to him now, like, hey, you're not doing this, he doesn't get defensive. He accepts it. And that's what changes. That's what allows you to play good on defense. Because on offense, one guy can do something wrong, and Denzel can jump up and catch the ball. It doesn't matter. But on defense, if one guy does something wrong, it can be 6. And so Jay Will's been really part of that cultural change here to make that be who we are and what we do.
How much difference did it make plug in Xavier Newman in the offensive line Saturday?
About the same. I think Prince was just getting a little overwhelmed and getting a little tired. And I thought X went in there and he played well. I think if you know X, he knows he can play a lot better. So I thought he did a nice job. And he came to me early in that week and said, Coach, I want to play this week. I thought having him out there, I thought having Petrie out there allowed us to be fresher and rotate. But I think Prince has really got a bright future, and so I need him to come back this week. And we're playing against really big men this week at Kansas State, like big physical men, and Prince gives us a level of physicality that we need. So does X. And I think the biggest thing that was fun about watching X play was he played so hard. He was trying to run guys to the ground. He was trying to knock guys down. He's trying to finish guys. Like, he was playing our brand of football on the offensive line, which was fun.
James talked about how he loved that the game was on the defense and he likes those kinds of moments. Have you kind of seen that mindset grow throughout maybe the last couple of years in this team to where they are now?
Yeah, we I thought in the Rice game it came down to defense, and we told them to embrace it, and I thought Clay did a great job of embracing it for the defense and trying to get them into it. I went out there this week to the defense and said, this is why last week happened, to prepare you for this week, so go attack it and embrace it. And, it's hard, right? You still always feel like when the offense isn't playing well that we aren't playing well. But playing, if you hold a team in the Big 12 scoreless through 3 quarters, you're playing pretty well. Now, the message is, hey, there's still mistakes there. You can play even better. That's the good news, is you held a great team scoreless through 3 quarters, and you can still play better. The scary part of it is you gave up 21 points in the 4th quarter, so obviously you have to play better. So there's a lot of things there we have to improve upon. But I do like the fact that their mentality is, hey, you know what? Doesn't matter what's happening on offense. We can win the game on defense and on special teams. Those defenders, they control 2/3 of the game. They play on defense and they play on special teams. Go win the game there.
Coach, you had Gary out there a couple plays in the first half. What was the strategy or circumstance behind that?
Charlie got struck really hard and was kind of wobbling around. And so, I don't know. When I see a guy out there, especially a quarterback, take a big hit, I don't know, does he have a concussion? So I got him off the field. And the shame of it was, we probably should have had Charlie just go down so we could have had the timeout, get the trainers out there. And because Gary got out there and we ran a play like with 6 seconds left on the clock. So probably not handled right by us. But, we always have a package ready for Gary. But at the same time, Gary can run our whole offense. And we've all seen what Gary can do. So, but Charlie went down. He just didn't look great. Got hit in the ribs. And so we let Gary go. And then when Charlie felt better, we got him back out there.
You said Lynch's diving on the ball at the end of the game was your favorite play. Was that something that you think you had to tell the guys to recognize what he did and how selfless that was, or did you see them kind of recognizing that themselves?
Yeah, I don't even know. That's a great question. I don't know that. I showed it to the team. I showed them 9 plays from the game. I showed them the 3rd and 10 where the quarterback spread out and threw the ball up in the air because all of our safeties that were deep came running up to the quarterback. And I showed them the same play happening the year before, saying we didn't learn from this last. And I reminded them I showed it to them on Thursday. So, we just stayed back there. We picked that ball off or knock it down in the game, and really the game's over going into the 4th quarter. We get the ball back. I showed them a play on 2 minute. I showed them the block a field goal, and then I showed them a couple other plays, but I showed them that play to end it. And the message being, hey, you're doing a lot of really good things. We can improve by everyone doing their job just a little bit better, and not trying to everyone go make a play. But you hope after seeing it, they all recognize, wow, that was a great job by James of just doing his job, making the play. Now, if that was in the middle of the 1st quarter, scoop that thing and go score. But last play of the game and have some football awareness, and I thought that was really cool that he had that football awareness.
Matt, do you see many differences between Coach Kleiman's teams and Coach Snyder's teams of the last couple of years?
Different X's and O's. They certainly have their own, a mark on the teams, right? And I know when you're in year one, you quite often you resemble, you're building towards what you want to get to, but you resemble what they did because, he has a veteran group. He has a lot of seniors out there playing. So, so there's a lot of similarities, but they certainly have their own mark, And the biggest thing is, they run the ball, they play defense, they're physical, they play great special teams, they don't beat themselves, and they have really good quarterback play.
Matt, he's obviously done it out here, but what does that do mentally for John just to do it in that situation?
Well, I mean, no moment will probably feel too big for him moving forward, And the issue is sometimes you have a guy go out there to kick and he's not a real good kicker. And so you're kind of hoping he makes it. John's a good kicker. He makes them all the time in practice. He just had to get that first one under his belt. It's 2 weeks in a row now on the first drive. We've driven the ball, got to like 4th and 3, and I've kicked a field goal, which 4th and 3, I like to go for it. Like, my goal was, hey, this guy needs to get his first field goal, so let me just get him one in the bank. And, that hasn't worked out. So then later I went for it on 4th down a couple of times. I think we were 2 of 3 on 4th down. And then so his first one's at the end. So now he's got this first one. He got his first game winner. He got his first field. He got them all. He got his first, viral Twitter, whatever. Like, he's got it all out of the way now. So now he can just get back to being confident, knowing that he's capable of doing it. We all know he can do it. And he did it in a tough situation. They were coming to block it. There was a lot of wind in his face, and he made it. And he made it dead down the middle. And the funnest part about it for me was there was a bunch of kids on the berm. Like, I don't know, maybe this big, and they were going nuts when he made the kick. So it was fun. It was a great moment. We didn't have to get to that moment. It could have been a boring fourth quarter if we would have played better. But credit to Iowa State. But he came through and he saved us, and that's why I coined it to the team. Mayor's saved the game for us. So let's learn from it as if we lost, but let's celebrate the fact that we won.
Does that make you more confident knowing that last year's game against Kansas State came down to the wire with a kick from Martin the same way?
Yeah, I was thinking about that actually in the game. I was like, well, this happened last year. So what we're trying to do is we want all of Waco to come to all of our games. We're trying to make them as entertaining as possible. So all the home games come down to, you don't have to come to the first half. Just come to the fourth quarter. No, I have confidence in all the players. That was my message to myself before the game, was trust the players. Trust the players. I mean, we threw as many deep balls as I've ever thrown in a game, right? I mean, we threw the ball up and said, go get it, guys. I mean, we went for it on 4th down. We trusted the players to go make the plays, and they did. And we're going to trust them again this week. We just have to be a little bit more disciplined as a coaching staff, as a head coach, and as a team to everybody really focus on the details and do your job and not freelance out there.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Coach, what